observed and saw it. While you are walking and traveling along your Christian journey, you're going to have situations that can be described like this. It is in these situations that God is expecting the glory of Him to shine through. It is not in these situations that God is expecting you to throw in the towel and decide to sing in the words of this old song, I did it my way. Because God has a way that is hidden from you that you can access by doing it His way. Here, Daniel found himself on the verge of accessing something that others who were free to be able to receive were not in a position to receive. Here, Daniel is stated here, says, because an excellent spirit was in him. Mind you, he's in a bad situation by the observation of the eyes. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Is your place, is your appointed high place, is it going to be empty? Is it not going to be filled? Because you won't let the glory of God shine through in your life? Is it going to remain unfilled because you're deciding that now is not the time for you to live for God, that you got to get yourself better prepared, you got to wait for situations to change? Have you even said out of your own mouth that when my situation gets better, then I'll come and serve God? Have you said out of your own situation, I can't do this right now, I gotta wait for some things to change, and when they change, then I'll be able to do it? Yet you are still bound in your situation. It hasn't changed, and your testimony about God in your life has become null and void. It's not possible for it to be said of you as it was said of Daniel. And it says here in verse 16, now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver you. Can it be said of you? Can those who don't even know your God, can those who have no inkling about your God or your relationship with your God, can those who are fully engulfed in the world turn to you out of all the people around you and make such a statement? Can they say, thy God whom thou servest continually? Not sometimes, not every now and then, not when you're ready, not when things are going good, not when somebody has primed your pump instead of you priming it yourself, not when somebody has fed you with a whole lot of hoopla and had you singing and dancing and falling out on the floor, then you get up and go off and don't have any idea about what has happened to you. Can they say, as this heathen king said about Daniel, can the accusatory finger be pointed at you? Can they accuse you as this king did Daniel? Will you be found where he was? So I am saying, your God, that I see you serving daily, thy God, whom thou servest continuously. He's saying, I want you to know, before I go any further, that I know that you have a God. And I know that you have been submitted to your God. And I also know that you are not a sometimes server of this God. That your service unto this God is continual.
Amen.
Continual means the king has been watching Daniel.
That's right.
And he's noticed there's been no interruption in how he serves his God. There have been no situations or circumstances where he had to lay his God down for a day, or an hour, or a week, or a year, while he go out and do his worldly thing and then come back and pick him up. But continually. And because of this, he then makes this all-powerful statement. Not a believer in God is making this statement, but someone who has observed someone who believes in God. Here lies the witness of the walk of your life. Here lies the evangelical effect of the walk of your life. People are watching you, and they are observing everything that you do. And they are going to come to a conclusion one way or the other. Will they conclude that they know that you have a God? Will they conclude that you are submitted to that God that they know that you have? And will they conclude that you are continually submitted to the God that they know that you have? This was the case in Daniel's situation. I ask you again, where are you? The king knew where Daniel was. He said in his preparatory statement, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. He will deliver thee. How many hearing now that you need to take another look at where you are with God? How many of you, in the midst of your tragedies, your real life tragedies, you know, your house caught on fire and it burned down, you're now unemployed and no hope of a job looms in the future. You went to the supermarket to buy some food and you got out of your car and you were robbed at gunpoint. You got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. Your son has been picked up for driving under the influence. It was only yesterday when you ran out of tears because you discovered that your 13-year-old daughter had been sneaking out at night, and she was found with this pedophile when they raided his place. Where are you now? Has the rage of life overcome you? Has fixing the situation yourself overcome you? Perhaps someone broke into your new automobile. It was the pride and joy of your life. And now you want everybody locked up because it never entered your mind that they could have broke into your house where your wife and kids lay asleep and killed you and them too. So I ask you, where are you now? Are you where Daniel was? I said in the beginning, if you are not where Daniel has been, man, today you might need to be there. Because where Daniel is a place of praise and worship. No matter what his circumstances, he has lived a life that he doesn't have to go around telling people about. When you're having conversation and the one you're conversing with has to tell you over and over again what type of Christian life they are living, close your ears. None of us go to a field where seeds have been sowed and look at a field that is barren, and because the sower says that's a great field. That's an awesome field. You know, I'm a great farmer. I do all the right things I should do. You know, I watered those seeds. I plowed the ground. I look over from sunrise to sunset. And as you listen, you wonder, where's he talking about? Because what you see doesn't match what he's saying. What you see is a field that's overcome with weeds. There's no evidence that this ground has ever been plowed. And if indeed there are seeds out there, they have been choked by the weeds. But he's working to convince you that what you see is not there. This is what I want you to avoid. This is a situation that you should not desire to be like. I want to know, will you be like Daniel? Let your light so shine. Daniel didn't have to pontificate. He didn't have to take a position and say, now I'm going to tell you all about me and my God, so that you can know what my life situation looks like. No, he lived the situation such that someone that was in a palace, a pagan, the world that you live in, observed his life.
That's right.
And they concluded, thy God, you have a God. Can they conclude that? Wow. Thy God, whom thou servest, do you have a God that the world can declare that you are submitted to? That thou servest continuously, and they don't see you jumping in and out of your declaration of submission. 1 week you're in the street, the next week you're in the church, the next month you're in the street, the next 3 months you're in the church, the next year you're in the street, the next 3 years you're in the church. Can they say, I know that thy God, which thou servest continually, he will deliver thee? Now that you've been caught up in your situations, which you didn't have anything to do with. Why? Because you've been serving your God continuously. You didn't slack on being excellent no matter how the situations turned for you. You didn't choose the path. God led you and you walked. He said that in this life you will have trials and temptations, but I will deliver you out of them all. He said, I have a way that's above man's ways, and I will lead you to a place where there is